Hello, Pigeon Creek Shakespeare fans. I am Katherine Mayberry, the company's executive director, here with another virtual Bard Beyond the Boards, where we give you background information to our upcoming productions. Now, while we are unable to be in live rehearsal and performance, Pigeon Creek's actors are busy creating virtual programming to keep in touch with our audiences. And one of the things that we have decided to do with our virtual programming is to do some readings of plays that we are interested in doing in full production in the future. And some of these plays are not by Shakespeare, but in fact are by some of Shakespeare's contemporaries. So we hope that by sharing recordings of the readings of these plays, we can give you a little peek into that part of our artistic development process. During the period from the 1570s, when the first purpose-built playhouses were constructed in London, through 1642, when the professional theaters in England were closed by the Puritan government under Oliver Cromwell, there were dozens of playwrights writing hundreds of plays. It was the greatest flowering of dramatic literature that has happened in the English language in history. And playgoing was the form of popular entertainment. So for us in the 21st century, Shakespeare has become the best known of these playwrights, but in fact, audiences of his time would have seen his plays right alongside many other playwrights that were well known to them. Pigeon Creek has previously produced several plays by Shakespeare's contemporaries. We have done John Ford's "'Tis Pity She's a Whore", The Duchess of Malfi by John Webster, and also The Knight of the Burning Pestle by a playwright named Francis Beaumont. Now, Beaumont also frequently wrote in collaboration with John Fletcher, and John Fletcher is the man who succeeded Shakespeare as the playwright in residence of the King's Men, which is the acting company for which Shakespeare wrote his plays and with whom he was also an actor. For our first full-length virtual offering this summer, Pigeon Creek is currently rehearsing a reading of Beaumont and Fletcher's play called A King and No King. A King and No King was first performed at the Royal Court of King James in 1611, and it first appeared in print in 1619. A King and No King belongs to the genre called tragicomedy. It's a genre which Fletcher himself wrote a helpful definition of to think about how audiences and actors and playwrights were thinking of that genre in the early modern period. Fletcher wrote, "A tragicomedy is not so called in respect of mirth and killing, but in respect that it wants deaths, and wants here means lacks, which is enough to make it no tragedy, yet brings some near it, which is enough to make it no comedy." Now, how exactly that definition plays out in A King and No King, I don't want to say specifically for fear of being too spoilery, but I will give you a little primer on the plot of the play in preparation for watching our reading. As the play begins, King Arbaces of Iberia has just won a battle against King Tigranes of Armenia by defeating Tigranes in single combat. Arbaces takes Tigranes prisoner and orders him transported back to Iberia, where he plans to force Tigranes to marry Panthea, a princess of Iberia and Arbaces' sister, from whom Arbaces has been separated for several years because he's been away at war. Tigranes, meanwhile, is romantically involved with a woman named Spaconia and arranges for her to travel to Iberia with him to become a lady-in-waiting to the Princess Panthea and thereby try to thwart the forced marriage. Meanwhile, Arbaces receives word that his mother, the queen, Arane, has plotted to have him assassinated. Her motives are mysterious, and Gobrius, a nobleman in Arbaces' court, urges mother and son to reconcile. Into all of this royal intrigue steps a character named Bessus, a captain in Arbaces' army, who brags constantly of his non-existent feats. Bessus' scenes are written in prose, to contrast the verse of the more noble characters, and feature other low-born characters. These create a contrast to the increasingly dramatic interactions of Iberia's royal family. So that's just a little bit of background to prep you for watching our play. keep an eye out right here on our YouTube channel for that reading, which will be coming within about a week. And please check out all of our other video offerings. We have lots of interesting stuff available on the YouTube channel to keep your interest in Shakespeare going while we are all in what we're calling Shakesquestration here. Please stay safe. We hope to see you when it is safe for us to return to the theaters and be live in person with our audiences. And please follow us for more information and virtual programming coming out all fall. We miss you, and we hope that you are finding ways to bring theater into your life. Thank you. We'll see you soon.